Hello everyone, and welcome to Farmer Joe Homesteading. Today we're going to talk about our top tips for winterizing your goats and keeping them comfortable this winter. We'll start off by talking about shelter for your goats. Now, goats absolutely hate water. They hate being wet, which means snow is their enemy and not their friend. On big, blustery, wintry days, they're all shoved into the shelter and will not come out until the snow subsides. Our goat shelter has two different parts to it. They have a part here that they can all huddle into. They also have this section here that is fully insulated and super warm, and we can fill it right to the brim with straw. This part here is the one that is completely fully insulated. It is an 8x8 cube with insulation all the way around and a nice secured roof. So this is fully windproof, fully waterproof. This one can get some drafts into it, but when we stuff it full of straw on cold nights, it keeps our whole herd nice and secured and safe. They are dry and ready to go for the day. So having good shelter for your goats is super important because they just don't seem to do well when they don't have an adequate shelter. They shiver really bad, and they really don't enjoy being out in the weather. So making sure they have cover from those snowstorms is going to be super beneficial for them, and you want to make sure that they're able to stay warm together. Breeding season for goats begins in the fall. So we make sure that our girls are fed really, really well in that late fall, beginning of winter to help them maintain their pregnancies and keep their calorie intake up when the temperatures really drop. Our girls are given a really good alfalfa quality hay to help with the cold weather. Now, because they're bred and we're trying to help them maintain their body weight and the body condition as we get into cold weather, they're getting really good alfalfa hay. Our girls, we also have a lot of dairy in our herd, so that increased protein is really good for them because we're milking. But they will eventually be getting more of a grassy hay, and then on the really, really cold days, we will be supplementing them with either the alfalfa hay mixed in with the grass hay or some alfalfa cubes or alfalfa pellet. In addition to that, our girls are also getting grain right now, again, because of the pregnancies and it's getting cold. So they are getting some oats and barley, they're getting corn, black oil, sunflower seeds, and they are getting soaked beet pulp. So we've also added in some Goat-Tex in there as well, but we have to watch the sugars with the Goat-Tex and the beet pulp since they both are sugary. So that's what we're feeding our goats right now. And as we get into the colder months, we will eventually be cutting back on the grain because we want to make sure that they have hay in their bellies, because hay will keep them warmer than grain. Grain is processed really quickly in the goat digestive system, so the grain will go through them really quick and make them poop more, whereas the hay sits in their rumen and it takes a lot longer to digest. So the longer and the more hay they have in their system, the longer they can stay warm. So if they're fed really well before bedtime and they all go huddle into their shelter at night, they will stay nice and warm, chewing their cuds. So water for goats is really important as well. They need to have access to good, fresh, clean water. Now, our girls are spoiled and have a nice water heater that keeps their water just above freezing, so it doesn't ever get super, super cold. So we make sure that they always have access to that good, fresh, clean water every day. And in the cold temperatures, when it's really nasty out and it's really blustery, windy, and they're not having a good time, it is pretty normal for them to eat snow, and we'll have a little trail of eaten snow on the way out to the bale because they don't want to go out of their way to go have water when it's super cold. So a quick recap on tips for goats. Make sure they have a good secured shelter to keep them out of those elements during those really cold winter months and big snowstorms. Make sure that they have lots of access to hay to keep those bellies full, to keep them warm during the night, and make sure they have some good, clean, fresh water. And other than that, they should be happy, healthy goats. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a subscribe. It really helps our family and our homestead, and we hope to see you guys next time.